Hello, my gorgeous fam. This is Dr. Day Luna, and you are listening to Drop It Like It's Doc podcast. Gotta be real with you. Today's episode, it's quite different. You are absolutely going to want to listen up to this one if you want to be laughing and entertained for the rest of your day. Today, I have on John Beck and Nikki Bose, and we're talking about bandhas and everything related to buttholes. Essentially, this is just a sex episode. You definitely don't want to listen to this other than with headphones in because shit's getting weird. Hi, best friends.
Hey.
Wow. I'm so excited for this episode. I'm also terrified for this episode in the best possible way. For those of you that are watching this video, I wasn't just crying. I was laughing, and this is what happened. So good luck to you for watching this episode because we have no idea where the fuck this is going to go. So I think it's important that everyone knows that you're both very respected people in the community because this podcast is going to maybe not highlight that because of how hilarious it's going to be. So here we are, my two best friends, fam. So this is John Beck. He is a personal trainer and performer. And the reason why I adore this human for so many reasons is because John gives no fucks. You really don't give a fuck. You don't. And you will do anything to make someone laugh. You will always show up as yourself. You are comfortable with darkness, which I love about you. And I think one of the coolest things about you is that even from the first time I met you, I've watched you show up for yourself on a daily basis and watched your body change. Not these tattoos. I'm not talking about the tattoos all over his body, but like his breasts, for instance. Look at them grow in front of the camera even. But I think it's really cool that you started out boxing and doing all these physical things, and now you're like a circus performer and you could do a deeper split than I can. So bravo to you. You are going to be a delight today. And before you start talking, I must introduce this queen as well. This is Nikki Bose. Bestie. So she is my favorite yoga teacher. And you are also the owner of Reunify Yoga, my favorite yoga studio. And yep, this is true.
Today's content doesn't represent that.
No, it does not. It does not represent that at all. However, 1 billion reasons why I love you is that you are one of the best friends that I've ever had in my life. You are truly, though, you are so grounded, but also able to hold space for anything. I say this as a joke, but if I was to kill a body, I would actually tell both of you because I know that you would help me and you would not judge me. John is like, ready. Tell me, what would you do with this body? Because I could tell that you wanted to say something about it.
I was there when you bought your first pistol, so I definitely helped you get a Glock.
Yeah, Glock
Then
came.
I was there when you shot it too, which
yeah. Would you like to share that?
Feel, less likely like you'll kill somebody.
Yeah.
So, but that's okay because I'll kill them and then I'll take the body.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and this is why I love you both. So thank you for being here. And today we are going to be talking about bandhas and buttholes. And I want all my viewers to know that they came up with this title. They decided that this is what they wanted to discuss today.
She said bandhas, and I think I said buttholes.
Okay, perfect.
So let's just clarify that was more yoga, you know, and I was just like, what I love to eat.
Look,
Why is that funny?
perfect. It's not. Have you watched the episode of 10 Things I Wouldn't Put in My Mouth?
Obviously not.
Okay,
I probably put all 10 in my mouth.
Yeah, you should watch it.
Was buttholes on the list?
You should watch it.
Okay.
Yeah, you should watch it. That's all.
I do this really good doctor recommended that I take a worm cleanse.
Yeah.
So I do that like once a month. So I gotta be okay.
No, you don't. You still have the pills out like in your bathroom. You don't, but you bought yourself a tushy.
Placebo effect.
Placebo effect.
Like, doesn't that shit work with a lot of things?
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah, like getting worms out of my gut from all the ass I eat.
Exactly. Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I've been practicing
Off to a great
brahmacharya
start.
lately. So that's celibacy for those that don't speak the guru terms. But I'm no guru. But the guru next to me.
I'm wearing a beanie to cover my greasy hair. I'm not a guru. Actually, that's kind of guru.
That's
guru.
way
Yeah.
more guru.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And actually, it's greasy because I was like doing Ayurvedic oil stuff. So.
Wow.
Wow. All right.
Yeah, it just got weird.
Yeah, that just got weird.
No, it's beautiful. So, obviously all we want to do is talk about buttholes, but we're going to start with bandhas. I think we should start with bandhas and then expand out from there. So, Nikki, what is a bandha?
A bandha is an energy lock. Yeah, and we have lots of different bandhas we can utilize, but one of them, which is very important for today's topic, is Mula Bandha. And it's not just the butthole. A lot of people kind of just squeeze everything down there because they don't really know what's going on. It's actually completely different for the male and female body, which isn't instructed by most teachers. For men, it's the space between the anus and genitalia, and you're pulling it up and in. And for females, you travel all the way up the vaginal canal, and you pull up and in right above the cervix. So it's a different experience for both. But I would say Mula Bandha is the most relevant for today's conversation.
Mula Bandha, but there's other bandhas, as you say.
Oh yeah. There's Uddiyana Bandha in the belly, which so many yoga teachers will cue Uddiyana Bandha randomly. But it's supposed to be when you're empty of breath and you carve your belly out and make yourself look really, really, really skinny. And then there's Jalandhara Bandha, which is when now I cue it you make yourself look like you have a double or triple chin. And that's the throat lock. But some people do it like this. But honestly, so people get used to what's happening down in the Mula Bandha area, I teach a mudra called Ashwini Mudra.
Ashwini.
And it's actually, should we all do it together?
Yeah.
They're not gonna be able to see that we're doing it.
It's okay. They'll feel it.
No, you don't have to stand up. You don't have to stand up. So what you're gonna do, everyone take a deep inhale. And now clench your butthole as fast as you can, as many times as you can. Just the butthole. Butthole. Fast. Clenching. 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 Relax it and then exhale.
How many times did you clench?
I didn't count.
I counted. How many times did you clench?
I was queuing.
I realized I was pulling up my taint more than my squeeze.
Oh, you were you're doing Mula Bandha instead of Ashwini Mudra.
Yeah, because I've been normally I squeeze all and then I release and then I just feel that one.
Oh.
Or if I'm doing the PC lock, if I want to get it to wiggle inside somebody.
Oh yeah.
Adding the wiggle. So I'm really good at that one. But the asshole one, I'm just totally open there. So.
Yeah, we gotta work on your butthole
I
mudra.
know, well, I can do it now if I really think about it. It's just like an extra squeeze.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, you can do
Before,
a
it was
whole
like-
yoga sequence down there. Yeah.
Wow.
There's another one that's for the urethra. So you do urethra, butthole, and then mula, and you move back and forth. I think you saw me cue that.
The PC lock, which is the urethra.
What's PC stand for?
Pelvic contraction.
Oh.
So it's what they start teaching if you're trying to have a full body orgasm or if you're a premature ejaculator. Not gonna look at the producer over there. That was a joke. Total joke. I'm the producer. I don't even know who he is, and he's never talked to me about that. That's a true statement there. I don't know which camera to look at. But the PC lock, it's you get it to wiggle, and then a good way of doing it, for some, is you start to pee. If you're really trying to work on it, you start peeing, stop peeing, start peeing, stop peeing. That's what I told to some of my guy friends about doing it, and then you want to start working it. More reps and then holding for longer periods of time. And then this is how you can hopefully one day not be such a loser and just come everywhere and you pull it all up.
Have you orgasmed without coming?
So I've only had it once and my whole body was fucking shaking. I was telling him, don't stop. This is fucking amazing. Oh my God, you just can't, you're fucking shaking. And
your kundalini runs too fast, basically.
It was fucking amazing. And I just she was freaking out. I'm no, don't stop. And it was great, and I didn't come. Yeah,
Oh.
it was really awesome.
Oh.
Yeah, but it's only been once out of the many times I've tried. So.
Yeah, I'm reading this book right now called The Tantric Orgasm for Women, and they talk a lot about how we're all having friction sex, and how there's a lot of holding sex that we should be able to do and enjoy rather than creating as much friction as possible. And she specifically talked about how for men that leads to orgasm without ejaculation, holding postures for longer periods of time and just breathing. But yeah,
a book that I give to a lot of my friends that are in good relationships. I'm not looking at you, Ashley, when I say that.
I'm single.
I know you are.
Single.
Okay.
I haven't given
I'm
you this
crying
book.
from you.
Yeah. It's The Orgasmic Couple is a really cool one because it starts getting into some more stuff along those lines. It's getting away from the friction aspect of it and making other connections that are sensual and beautiful that can lead to your whole body's buzzing and the sensation of what you were saying. I don't know yoga very well, but that kundalini rising was just rising so fast. It was amazing.
Wow.
FYI, John is a yoga teacher, but a not yoga teacher.
I was told I wasn't allowed to call him a yoga teacher, so he's a personal trainer, but you're a yoga
But he
teacher.
definitely
Torture
teaches
yoga.
at Reunify. They both do, but he calls it torture yoga.
Suffering.
Yeah.
Suffering. Life is suffering.
Life.
Yeah, unless you're good at that PC lock.
Unless you're good at the PC lock.
Then there's a little less suffering, but
Oh no, it's joy, pleasure, bliss, nirvana, kaivalya, right?
Well, what about when the PC lock is over?
Then it's a very good eruption, and then it's time to nap.
Okay, so no suffering. All right, PC lock is the answer.
Yeah.
Folks, we can just stop all of our work.
I
But
think we're
getting
done
back
now.
to the ashwagandha. Oh no,
Ashwini.
that's my safe word. Shit.
Ashwagandha is your safe word.
Yeah, what do you want it to be? Pineapple?
Wow. Sweetie Muja.
Ashwini.
Yeah.
Getting back to it?
Yeah, get back to that.
Oh,
I was
should we
like,
chat
yeah, I
about
wanted
that?
so yeah, like
Oh, yeah,
I really do want to learn more about that.
Oh,
Squeezing my asshole, you know?
Yeah, squeezing the
'Cause I was taught from we'll talk about one of my best friends. I can't use his name because we're not allowed to use names.
No names.
Yeah.
But he was a very beautiful, beautiful bear of a man, and he was teaching me about when this guy was tapping his prostate. And it was me and two girlfriends and my this beautiful man. I'm not going to say his name because we don't want. He wouldn't care, but he's beautiful. And I had an orchid in my living room, and he was telling us how he went to this house in Palm Springs, and they were doing a porn. And he's a very jolly man, and he's very loud and like is like stumbling across his feet and stuff. Like, he's like, he kind of makes mistakes. So he gets in and they're like, be quiet. The scene's about to end. And he's like, fuck, I don't want to touch anything. Like, he's like really nervous. But anyways, the scene doesn't get ruined. Everything was great. And then one of the guys takes him to the back room, and he was like explaining it to us what this is what inspired me to like actually be okay with a woman giving me the prostate stimulation. Was that he was like looking at this orchid, and he was like, yeah, this guy was so good. He like put his finger in me and just started tapping it, and it was like this little rise, and we're all looking at the orchid, and he's like, and it would rise, and all of a sudden halfway up the orchid, he's like, it felt like I went underwater, and all I could feel is this tap of like sensation rising and rising, and we're just, me and the girls are just watching him roll up the orchid, and all of a sudden it gets to the blossoming, and then it was boom, and we're like, oh. And the girls were like, I wish I had a prostate. And I'm like, I have a prostate.
You do.
I need to explore this.
And it was a whole new world for you from that point on?
Yeah,
Or is it new? Is it still fresh? the
Well,
prostate?
it's still pretty fresh, but I'm exploring it. If I trust a woman,
Do you think, Ashley, as a doctor, do you think that you could stimulate your own prostate from Ashwini Mudra as much as someone else could stimulate it by the slow?
I mean, it's pretty deep up there. The prostate.
Yeah, let's see your hands, guys.
How far up?
Yeah, they're probably too small.
Yeah, I don't know if mine could reach. No,
Oh, really?
and that's a lie. Mine can reach because as a doctor, I get to feel people's prostates.
Yeah.
Which is
When am I
my
scheduling
least
my
favorite
next
thing to
prostate
do.
orgasm?
You're my next
exam?
prostate orgasm. After this, I'm gonna check everyone's prostate. Okay.
I tell like this for a really long time, an awkwardly long time. Okay,
Yeah.
let's
put it back. Let's put it back.
But as a doctor, what you do, and it's kind of fucked being a medical student because you learn all of these things and then you have to practice. And we would hire, at my medical school, they would hire models to come in, and they would truly be people that wanted their prostates touched. And they would come to the medical school. Yeah, John, sign up. You get paid pretty good.
Paid?
You get paid. I didn't even think for you to be this. I don't know why.
Every day.
Exactly, you bidet all day, and this would be perfect for you. But my little finger could reach, because what your prostate should feel like, if anyone at home wants their babe to stick their finger up their butt and take a feel.
Please teach. I
Your
don't know.
prostate should feel like the tip of your nose.
Oh.
That is the consistency and the kind of softness to it. But of course, people are concerned about prostate cancer. That's the only reason why doctors are sticking their fingers up your butt, to feel your prostate, to see if it's lumpy, bumpy, or if anything is weird. And then there's this central sulcus that your urethra runs through. Sulcus. So that's why if the prostate can start to get overgrown, it can impact that and lead to weird issues with peeing and whatnot. But if this little finger can touch a prostate, I think anyone's finger can touch a prostate, but the Ashwini Mudra, I could think that it would create some internal pressure and increase blood flow to the area, but I don't have a prostate. I've never had one tapped, so it's hard to say. We're gonna have to test it on John and see what happens.
Because like if you look at any of the books that study this stuff, they all say that improves urogenital health.
Yeah.
Like all of those mudras down there. So I'm like, what does that mean? Like the flow of things?
Yeah.
Or
I would say so, because truly so many people sit and the pelvis is just pooling with blood and everything gets stagnant. And I mean, we don't sit that much. I sit probably the most out of us three just for my job working. But most people sit all day and they're not having sex and they're not dancing and they're not moving their hips. So doing these different mudras, it is pumping blood and also activating and relaxing muscles to turn the nerves on and off. So yeah, I mean, to anyone that I work with that doesn't have a good libido or that doesn't have good sexual function, I ask them, are you using it? what are you doing with your pelvis?
So I have a question to the ladies. It's my voice.
Listening.
Yes, John.
I mean, I don't know how many men you guys have been with, but like, could you like be like, oh, look at the men that I've slept with that were actually practicing yoga, and look at the men that were not practicing yoga. Could you, on a hand, be like, wow, the yoga ones were better in bed, or could or like because of this? Like, it could be a study. I think Ashley, maybe you should start a tally sheet and we can start putting you on a dating website, and then we can just like do some research about this, and you can just start like, you know, finding out.
I've never slept with anyone who's done yoga.
No, what's your husband?
But that was before he started doing yoga.
When I met Andy, he wasn't doing yoga. I got him to do yoga.
Well, did he get better? Or has it always been good? Because
He
he's
did
just-
get better, but like also I taught him. Like all of us ladies do when we find a new partner. We're like, yeah, that was great. And we will slowly train you into what we want you to be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how every partner has been for me, no matter how great. Even if they're great, there's like every female body's different.
And just like
So-
every man, like I'm
Yeah.
like, hey, you're sucking my dick. Here, put that finger there by my taint and start pushing on it. You know?
Exactly.
Like, you got two hands too,
Oh my
girl.
God, I'm so sorry, Mom, if you're watching this.
My mom, without a fucking doubt, is gonna watch this. Like,
Her mom loves me so much, so she wouldn't
From the
expect
live
anything
streams. From the
less,
live.
you know?
Urine live streams, he would swear all the time on them. She was like, you should ask that John guy to swear less. I'm like, oh, I can't. It's part of his brand.
yeah, it
Not
is.
a brand. Fucking brands. These fucking people.
So is Mandala head tat now.
Yeah. Show everyone your head.
Wait,
Tip
so
your
back
head
to
down.
what we're talking about. Oh, yogas. Oh my God.
You're welcome.
At some point the shirt, if it was warmer in here, I think we could get the shirt to come off at some point.
Listen,
I think we just have to ask with the film rolling. John, can you take your shirt off?
not happening.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, back to
try again
the
later.
proposed question. Could you tell a difference?
I have not gathered that data.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
A quick flash. in the
I
mind.
should start to date people that are mindful
Yeah.
and that take care of their body. That's actually something that I'm currently calling in. So I'll let you know when
Call it
that
in,
happens.
sister. I like that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. So then we don't have to laugh as much about my dating experience, but that's
I
okay.
don't know what you're talking about.
I do.
Me either.
I do think though, like once you start practicing yoga and going into the yogic philosophy bit, like if you really are embodying that, you're more open to women's feedback. And because you're not immediately like, oh, my ego's bruised, you're like, okay, I'm open to that. And it felt a little triggery for me for you to criticize me. But and then like I think the sexual abilities can be enhanced from there. Because like women know their body's best.
Yeah,
Period.
I mean, so I started practicing yoga like when I was 19, but it was really just like going to like a 24 class. But then I got into it like probably around 22, 23 when I broke my tibia. And I would say that's like when I probably started getting into sex toys and things, where before I wasn't, because I was like, oh, what, my dick's not good enough? Da 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 in my head. And then, you know, like, what's wrong with that? It's a great tool. And it was pierced for a while, you know? So it's like, hey, you know, it's I added stuff to it.
You did.
Like I'm
Blinged it up.
willing to put some ticklers on there
Do you
for
think
you.
your urethra mudra is the same? Can you lift your
Good question.
Do it right now. Can you lift
I
it?
can wiggle my penis.
Oh yeah, well yeah, it's the PC lock.
Yeah.
It didn't affect the PC lock.
No, but I mean, there's
Thank
definitely
God.
a hole through my urethra going two ways, and I pee in three directions.
So you plug it.
I have to. It's pinch, and then I pee.
A pinch and pee.
Pinch and pee, or else I'm dribbling.
Yeah.
And I be dribbling.
Yeah. Yeah. Keeping it clean.
Yeah.
Stay dribbling.
But pee coming out of it means it's still clean, because pee is what? I don't know, you're a doctor. Isn't it like clean? Doesn't it clean?
Oh yeah.
No?
Pee is not fucking clean.
So you can't drink pee.
Okay.
So the
All right.
yogi-
All right.
Let's break the yogi rumor about drinking pee.
First pee of the morning. I had a friend that said he did it.
Mind blowing to me that people still think that they can drink
Ayurvedic.
their urine.
Ayurvedic.
So many people do this. Okay, let me just
You
break
calling
this
the
down
gurus?
for you.
Wrong.
Is it actually Ayurvedic?
It is.
It's a
the
spiritual
yogis would
practice.
do
Oh, it is.
in
It
the
is.
first
Some
pee
people
of the
even
morning.
think it's anti-cancer, and people will straight up do it as a cancer treatment, which makes, do they get better? No, they don't get better, because in urine, what urine is, it is the filtering that your kidneys have done to clean out your blood. So all of your water-soluble toxins are concentrated in your urine. There's all sorts of stuff in your urine that I would never drink unless I was about to die and I had no other liquid to drink. That's the only reason that I could ever think that I would consider drinking my own
Like an
pee.
asshole. So like, who are we really talking to?
No, I don't want to lick a butthole either.
Well, there goes some
No.
of the spiritual guys you're going to connect with.
Yeah, it's fine. They can move to the side. But yeah, I would not drink. Yeah, they can move to that side, John. Exactly. Exactly. We'll see. So yeah, please don't drink your urine. If you do drink your own urine, definitely tell the person that you're about to kiss that you drank your urine, because that's a little gross.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have to tell my partners that I have herpes every time. So I mean, thinking if I had to tell them that I drank my pee, it might not be as hard.
Yeah.
That like goes away after a day, But the gift that was given to me, it doesn't go away.
Oh my God.
Your heart feel good?
So
Hey,
good.
healing happens through speaking.
I know.
So
I know.
You gotta speak.
That's why you speak through your entire yoga class.
I don't teach yoga.
You don't.
Your torture yoga class, right?
It's not. It's just we hang out and we discuss life.
Chit chat.
We do.
Yeah.
Listen to Usher. Sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes Disney songs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes thrice.
Late night breaks like hear the tires rev. I can't stop,
So I spin the wheel.
My world goes black before I feel an angel lift me from this. I love that
John's
song so
debut.
much.
I love that
debut.
song so much as well.
Ah, she doesn't even know that
I don't
song.
know that song.
Wow.
She knows Ayo for Yayo.
Okay.
I honestly listened to Nicotina on the way over here.
I was
Wow.
listening too.
Were you actually?
Yes.
I was like getting pumped. I was like, all right.
And I just saw, she didn't know I'm a Pisces, but I'd rather be a killer whale song. So I was listening to it. I'm about to send it to her so she actually knows what real astrology is.
Yeah. Good. Thank God.
Very important. Very important.
So there's definitely a misconception of what astrology is.
Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Can I play a song?
No, I don't think we can do that at this point.
Because, we don't have rights. Yeah. Well, no, I don't want to talk.
Okay, that's fine. We don't have to talk about it at all. It's totally fine. We can go back to the Bandhas and Buttholes.
Yeah.
I'll talk about Bandhas again. Honestly, something that I really didn't realize was going to happen after I gave birth, which I gave birth 6 months ago. I was like so afraid to do Mula Bandha again. After giving birth, I was like, I just want to pretend everything down there doesn't exist for a few months and then we'll come back to it. And yeah, those fears were slightly valid.
Yeah. But do you want to speak to a little bit of the fear?
Oh yeah, let's talk about it. Well, first of all, women who are watching, female-bodied humans who are watching this podcast, if you've pushed a baby out of you, wow, incredible. I now look around at all of the beings that did that, and I'm just like, insane. And after I did it, one, I had anal fissures.
Whoopsies.
For a very long time. For those of you who don't know what anal fissures are, well, after active labor, I had a very long active labor. We don't need to go into that.
No.
There was what was told to me was like a cauliflower of hemorrhoids down there. I didn't want to look at myself because I refused. Because we're talking buttholes right now.
Yeah, we are.
I just did. I was like, I had my doula just take a look, my midwife take a look. I just didn't want to know. And they healed themselves, thank God. But they turned into fissures, which are like anal tears.
Is it like scar tissue? Kind of like.
It's tears.
It's like paper
Literally
cuts.
paper cuts around your anus. And every time, sorry, there's so much information about my body, but it's healed now, luckily. Every time you poop, it feels like you're pooping glass. And I hope someone who is watching this has anal fissures and feels somehow validated in their experience, because it is the most intense pain. And you go through it every day. And I had to like coach myself through it. Like I was like, this is with like crazy outlandish yoga philosophy stuff. I'm like, this is karma. You're burning karma off. This is tapasya. Like you have the willpower to like take this poop again today. I was dying for 4.5 months. And so I didn't want to do any of my Mula Bandha practice, anything, which actually, now that I look back on it, probably would have helped because it probably would have strengthened pelvic floor. But I just didn't want to like look at that space at all with my awareness because it hurt.
Yeah.
So yeah, back to the Bandhas and Buttholes, straight into it.
Yeah, straight into it.
Hemorrhoids and fissures.
And it is so common for people to get hemorrhoids and fissures even outside of pushing a human outside of your body. And it's truly just from the pressure that is in the pelvis. And so many people that I work with are just straight up constipated too. And what will happen is if things aren't being cleared out, there's just so much pressure in the veins of your body that they pool. So a good sign that you can maybe get a hemorrhoid is if you get a lot of varicose veins. And if your veins start popping out and pooling, because then that kind of works its way up from the feet all the way into the butt. And then you could get a hemorrhoid. So super, super common. It can be a reason why people's butt itch as well, which is funny because I just did an episode on that, and it's not always worms. It could be a hemorrhoid.
Itchy bum bum.
Itchy bum bum. Exactly. My number one fan. I love you. And also, I just want to touch on that. You are truly one of the strongest people that I know. And I think that the fact that you are expressing how badly that hurts speaks to the pain that you endured. Every time that you just wanted to do a little poopalaz. Every time.
Okay, and then, Dr. Google sends you on a tangent. And I was like looking up, I'm like, okay, what if I have anal fissures for life? Like, what will I have to do? And there's apparently some like sphincter surgery. I'm like, I don't want to get surgery on my sphincter.
Nah.
Do you know about that?
I mean, you could surgically sew anything together.
I think they like cut your sphincter. I know nothing.
Yeah, I've never cut open a sphincter before. Yeah.
But that's a thing apparently. But
Yeah.
turns out I just needed to take a laxative for 7 days.
There we go. Yeah, soften it up. Soften it up. Don't need to push it out of
Done
there.
that the whole time.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Stool softeners. You get fissures anywhere though. You can actually get vaginal fissures.
I mean, does that happen during like really aggressive sex?
It could happen during aggressive sex. It can happen from a yeast infection that gets really bad. You can get vaginal fissures. Yep. You can get it from all sorts of friction or just discomfort down there. But
Friction sex.
friction.
Lesser
Mhm.
than-
Rub
lesser
it
than
up.
Apparently.
People.
So yeah, I work with a lot of people on pelvic floor health, and it's something that not a lot of people are comfortable even bringing up. And another reason why you're both on this podcast, because we will talk about anything.
Too much.
And people
Too
need to know.
Yeah. Unfortunately, like all my students now will know about my butthole.
It's okay.
It's cool.
So been there.
Yeah.
Not in your butthole, but like, talking openly.
So question.
Please, babe.
No parties in my butthole. Question. So anal fish, or is it fissures or fissures?
Potato.
Fissures. Does it mean weak pelvic floor or strong, overly tense pelvic floor, or could it be either?
I think it could
Saying
be.
by creating them or
Yeah, like how does it like to heal them? Like
Yeah.
what could cause them? What could heal them? Does it have anything to do with pelvic floor strength?
I think it has more so to do to the tissue itself rather than the muscles underneath the tissue, and that tissue being fragile and just how much pressure has to go on to, again, give birth, but then also just the pressure as all that tissue is healing. So I think it more so has to do with the surface rather than the muscles underneath it. But pelvic floor imbalances can lead to all sorts of shit. All sorts of stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
Don't we know?
Okay, I'm gonna overshare more.
Thank you.
Okay, it's getting better now. But after I gave birth, whenever you never do this in class, but you never do this in class. And I don't think that's why. Thank you, John.
Gotcha.
So when I would lift my right leg, and you know how all teachers cue you to stack your hips?
Yeah, I never do that.
You
as
never
know.
do that. I started sucking up air in
Oh,
there.
wow.
Like I would like stack my
all
hips.
heard
And
it.
it'd be like, and I was like, no. And it feels really intense.
Yeah.
And as soon as you level out the hips, it's got to, whatever came in, it has to come out.
It's a cave.
That's what I say when people fart in my yoga class, but now it should be what I say when people queef.
Yeah.
Too. And it's getting better, but I've been scared to stack my hips ever since that happened the second time I did yoga after giving birth. And is that from all the pelvic floor muscle being stretched out?
Yes.
Okay, so tell me what the pelvic floor musculature looks like and like what happened. Like
But with
I
your
just think-
hands.
I
Let's
With my
do like
hands.
yeah,
Italians.
picture this gaping hole.
So the pelvic floor muscles, they kind of
Gaping.
wrap around both the anus and the
can't.
urethra. So there's some muscles that I want to do this so that you can see this with my
Yeah,
hands.
yeah, I
Some how can I do this? Some muscles
Not a
wrap
visual.
around the two holes like this. So then when you squeeze them, it compresses them and closes them.
Yeah.
But then there's some muscles that are layered this way as well to create stability in the other plane. So any of those can be weak and imbalanced. And fun fact, I'm actually going to my first pelvic floor therapist tomorrow just to see what's going on down there for fun because I'm so interested in all this shit.
fun,
For fun. For fun. Yep. For fun, John.
Jess, that was
I'm not blushing, you're blushing.
I'm not blushing. When I blush, I don't blush, I cry. So that
tearing up.
I'm not tearing right now. I'm not tearing. I cried before this episode. And in the beginning, I teared a lot, but right now I'm doing good. Doing good.
Good.
Okay, back to the gaping hole.
Back to the gaping hole. Yeah, it's a pelvic floor weakness.
It's a pelvic floor weakness.
Yeah.
And then pelvic floor can slowly build back strength so then I can stack my hips again.
Oh, 100%. I mean, any muscle can be trained and retightened, and think about it. I mean,
agree.
your whole body opened up
Yeah.
to create space for all new life. So your muscles changed, your ligaments
Most
opened up.
Cute new life. Remy, not Reiki.
Not Reiki.
His name's not Reiki.
I would be disturbed if you named your baby Reiki.
Oh, we wouldn't be friends anymore.
Yeah, we would end there.
You know, there's a lot of talk these days about cultural appropriation. I'm already a white woman who owns a yoga studio. Was not about to name my baby Reiki.
Yeah, no, it doesn't make sense.
But Remy was adorable.
Exactly. Exactly. So yes, I have full faith that you will be able to not queef when you stack your hips in down dog. But you know, you were also like, I just
Will I be
connected.
queefing? That's fine.
You know, with you are a unicorn, and I am not sure.
Wait, can a butthole queef?
Yeah.
Wait, instead
back-
of fart?
back
Instead
in
of
the
fart?
day,
Like,
like-
you and Aaron?
Yeah. I had friends that would like suck in and push out, and they could just constantly fart.
Yeah. Boys.
Yeah, it's like when we were in like 5th grade, everybody would be like, look, you know, like, it just happened, and we'd just always be laughing. But that was like elementary school.
Yeah.
I'm surprised Ashwini Mudra doesn't do that, actually, now that I think about it.
Well, I have a question. So there's like one of those doughties that they told me in India to put a straw up my butt and then sit over a thing of water and then suck up. So that would be teaching that.
Ashwini Mudra.
Yeah. So when I was doing that, and I was just like sitting there and just like pull up, and then you squirt it back out. You pull up, you squirt it back out. I was just trying to get my butthole clean, but that's Ashwini Mudra.
Did you wipe with your hand when you were in India?
No, I'm sorry. There's some things I could not do.
Oh, yeah.
So did you bring toilet paper?
Well, they had toilet paper. I mean,
At the ashram?
yeah, at the ashram.
That's nice.
We had to, if we wanted to use toilet paper, we'd have to go out into town and get our own.
Wow.
Yeah, but I didn't because I wanted to like.
That's so sick. Yeah, way to go. Yeah.
I wanted to try it. Think about it.
Wiping
No
with your
waste.
hand.
No waste.
No waste.
I know that's.
I was like, if
And every toilet has a bidet there.
I know they have.
mine
bunk
didn't have a
beds.
bidet.
Really?
Mine had the bucket situation.
Oh, mine had a bucket and a
They
bidet.
really did you good. Mine, I had like the penthouse suite overlooking Mother Ganga.
Wait, are you serious?
Yeah, straight up. I got
Oh.
one of the nicest rooms.
Of course you did.
I mean, it had no ceiling, so monkeys would come in at all.
Oh, okay. Mine had a ceiling, but there were a lot of mosquitoes.
Yeah, no,
But like I had like a big bucket and then a little bucket, and then use your right hand to grab the bucket of water, and then you pour that down your back, and then you use your left hand to wipe while you pour the
and that's
bucket
what
of
that
water.
bar of soap in there is for.
2 bars of soap. 1 bar of soap for your left hand, 1 bar of soap for your
That's awesome.
Wow.
sorry. And then you have to use your right hand to eat. Yeah.
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 Wow.
So that's how I kept my butthole clean in India.
Nice.
Very important for us to know.
Honestly, I felt like my butthole was cleaner then than it is now.
Yeah,
I think
water.
Americans are disgusting. When I go over to somebody's house, I walk into their bathroom. The first thing I do, and I see if they have a bidet. And if they don't have a bidet, I look for their wet wipes. And if they don't have wet wipes, I judge the shit out of them.
Well, maybe they're not having
judge
someone
their-
lick their butthole, bro.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. How are you walking around with fucking dingleberries in your ass all day? That's fucking gross. Like shit in your pants? Let's go. Come on now, people.
Well,
Every
maybe-
other country has bum guns or bidets.
Bum gun.
Us in America, we're like, we're too good. Let's just have shit in our pants.
Today's
don't
episode
say.
by Tushy. Sponsored by Tushy.
Well, no, it doesn't have to be. There's so
all
many
bidet.
different ones.
Yeah.
But, I mean, plus, who doesn't like a rim job every time they fucking sit down and take a shit?
I gotta
Okay,
say, I love
have a
my spray
question.
gun. I love my
So, okay, so like everyone that watches this outside of you, because you don't watch my podcast, which is fine, knows that I don't lick buttholes. Not into it, not into it. Question.
See,
Would you lick someone's butthole and then kiss them?
I mean, have I?
Would you?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Have I? 100%. In the moment of passion, you know, and like, whatever. Like, as the French would say, it's all about the passion.
It's all about the passion.
Just being in the moment.
Yeah.
perfect French accent. John. Spot on. Almost as good as your Sanskrit.
Oui, oui.
That's pretty bad, too. To all my French friends out there, oui, oui. I have a lot of French friends. Yeah. Is that really that funny? Jesus.
You as a whole.
I know.
Hilarious.
I just wee-weed myself a little.
We pelvic floor, we got to strengthen that up, baby girl.
I know.
Be leaking.
Ashwini Mudra, Ashwini Mudra, Ashwini Mudra.
So you think that? Oh, never mind. I won't go with that one.
Why?
I was just.
Do you, what kind of disease could you get? Like a certain disease from kissing? What would be the? Someone came into your office, you're like, oh, their partner
I have a
definitely licked their
question,
butthole
like-
and kissed him.
Well, I mean, like, have you kissed a man after sucking his dick?
I can't answer these questions on air.
Oh, what the fuck?
Only you will put yourself out on the table, John.
What?
Yeah.
I'll suck. I mean, I'm about to say.
Are we gonna edit this?
No, none of it will be edited.
No, what I'm trying to say is like, hey, if a girl's doing me, like, and then she goes up for a kiss, I'm gonna kiss her.
Yeah.
Like, fuck, she
You're
just
not gonna be like,
sucked my dick. Like, I'm clean. Like, maybe I went to the gym. It's a little salty. Whatever.
Really?
Like,
No shower after the gym? I mean, okay.
I mean, yeah,
passionate
every now-
moment.
But like, I mean, like, you know, back in the day when I date somebody, we go to the gym and work out, and then like you're just watching them the whole time. You're just getting more fierce and fierce inside you, and that animal print in you, like, take them home and just like rip
No
off
time.
the fucking clothes.
No time.
Blah, 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 blah. Love, passion, friction, no friction.
Yeah.
Yab yum, just hold them, put them
Yab
in your
yum.
lap, insert, and then you'd be like,
Yab
you
yum.
start giggling, I'll start PCing. Let's see what happens. And I'm doing it right now.
On the motorcycle.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. That's a hard seated position.
You're right.
Yeah, that would be hard to do. But the other things on the motorcycle are easy.
For those of you who don't know, yab yum is a position you do in Tantra.
So you see this tattoo?
Oh,
Yeah. Camera right there. Where's the camera at? So in Nepal, this picture has his nut sack hanging out from being inserted into Vajra Yogini.
I never noticed this tattoo.
Yeah, nobody ever notices this tattoo, but it's my favorite.
I did. I noticed that.
And so this is the Yab Yum, Chakra Sambhata, and Vajra Yogini, his consort, are inserted, and they are doing the PC lock and practicing what Tibetan Tantra of wisdom and compassion is coming together.
Wow.
And
I think it's my favorite tattoo of yours.
yeah, mine too. And then I remember the
Mine's a
tattoo.
bleeding woman on his neck.
Oh yeah.
Not the sword
Shri,
girl?
whoa. Shri, my tattoo artist, goes as he's designing the picture, and he drew the nuts on my arm, and he was like, yeah. This little Nepalese guy that I'll go back to have finished the rest of my arm. And I was like, Shri, I already have a set of balls. We're not putting a set on my arm, and he was really sad about that.
Oh,
I'm sad.
He
about
really
it.
wanted to put a nut sack on my arm. But then I'd feel like it was back in like the fraternity days when you pass out with your shoes on, and then all of a sudden somebody draws a dick on your face.
Oh,
except for life.
Except for life, and I did it purposely without being blacked out drunk with my shoes on. So
yeah.
yeah. So I was like, nah, we'll take that trauma away for sure. Yeah. So Yab Yum is just the seated position that they teach about breathing. So you'll be pulling in what we were talking about, the PC lock, Kegeling, and then you'll be breathing your belly into their belly, your heartbeat into their heartbearbeat. Oh my God. Is the producer getting turned on right now? Because I'm
Yes.
feeling a little hot. Should I stand up? I don't think I should stand up. Well, the producer stand. Wow. Woo.
John,
getting
one
warm in
rule,
here.
not to pull in the producer. Can't help himself.
Oh yeah.
He's followed the other rules pretty well, though. So we'll give you that. We'll give you that.
Okay.
Yeah. There's a lot of things.
Well, I didn't even get to answer the question that you asked me about if you lick someone's butthole, what could happen. I just want everyone to know that any STD that you could get in one area, like your butthole is right there. So just throwing that out there. But my issue is the parasite thing. And also just because of how much shit literally comes out with your shit. I would like to think that vaginas are perfect. And
They
yeah, they are.
100%.
They're perfect.
Beautiful.
They're gorgeous. Little
Gorgeous.
flowers. I
mean,
love them.
If God did anything correct, it was making that.
I agree. I agree with that. And a penis looks strange, but still.
Totally.
But the
I'm not
penis
into
is
them.
still like the
I'm not
outside
into
of the body, right? So yeah, it's still the outside of the body.
John, it's a cactus.
I was just feeling it.
Rare. a little sharp there. But yeah, I'm not a fan, but a lot of
Just
people
shame.
are fans, and it's okay. It's okay. You're into what you're into, and you're not what you're not.
You know?
Teach their own.
Let your freak flag fly, but don't hurt anybody.
But just don't hurt anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't judge. It's
No.
okay.
No judging, no hurting.
Everybody's got their own taste in their mouth. Some of it's butthole.
Exactly. For some people, it's urine.
Golden showers.
Yeah.
I learned about that in Germany.
Yeah.
Apparently, that's like a thing in the clubs.
Yeah. The Berlin. Yeah.
What the fuck?
Like people all pee into, like all the pee travels down into a big thing, and then
people
people
just get
go
golden
in and they'll
shower.
shower in it.
Yeah.
Oh, girl, you gotta update your kink level, girl.
What is that club called? Oh my God, Andy's so ashamed of me right now.
It's okay.
No, I'd be ashamed of you if I was your wife too.
Wife.
It was a joke.
Yeah.
You got that?
I did.
Wow. Can't remember.
It's okay.
Yeah, I don't remember the name.
Berkheim.
too. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, and it's got like levels of kink.
And they don't let you in unless you're like kinky enough. So you wait in line for like 4 or 5 hours.
They test
and if you look vanilla, they're like, no. And you can't come in.
See, the issue is that I don't look vanilla, but I might be vanilla.
Well, then you get in. And
Yeah,
you
I would get in.
witness all of it.
I would be able to get
and there's
in.
these
You
dark,
get to
dark
be a
rooms.
voyeur. Do you know what that means?
I don't even know what a voyeur is. What's a voyeur?
Somebody who likes to watch.
I don't want to watch.
No.
But you might
Then
be
why would
like
you go
one
in?
eye open. you
Okay,
know?
I want to watch.
You want to watch.
Yeah, I'm
Like, there's.
from a medical standpoint, I'm curious.
And it's just wild. Even if you're not going to get turned on, like, it's wild. All human kink expressed freely in one place. Like,
yeah.
plus probably some speed. Nuts.
Some
Wow.
speed.
Some speed.
Which, by the way, the only good ecstasy pills are the ones mixed with speed. Let's be real. Haven't done them in a long time. You know,
Fun
can't
as
do drugs
balls and
anymore.
drugs.
But
Yeah.
yeah, well, we don't need to get into sobriety. But that was a great path.
Yeah, that was a great path.
It was a great path for you.
Thank you guys.
Yeah.
I'm very grateful for that too.
Yeah,
as
I'm
well.
grateful to have witnessed it.
Yeah.
Even though part of me wishes that I saw you a little before, just to like experience it as a voyeur.
She experienced my pot smoking. I mean, like I quit everything up to weed, and her and Andy came over, and I was like rolling blunt after blunt, and they're fucking asleep on the ground. I'm like, you guys want another one? They're like, we can't even move.
My mind. Me and Andy each took like 1 or 2 hits. We're like, okay, let's go on our date now. Like we were all gonna go to the circus or something.
Oh, that one.
And John was like, I'm gonna roll 1 more blunt. I'm like, oh, we can't have any more. He's like, oh, this is gonna be for me. Just for me.
Yeah. I mean,
It was impressive.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then this story is really funny because we go to dinner with my old clients that are like 76 and 78, and Andy is high out of his mind. Like,
Can barely open his eyes. Andy's my partner, by the way.
yeah, partner, husband, wife, whatever you want to call him. And Andy can barely open his eyes, and he's pretty much speaking German because he doesn't know how to speak English right now. And like we're at this.
I'm
like,
ordering for him. Like that's how bad it is.
But we get the to-go boxes. We get the to-go boxes, and they bring out this little to-go box that's this little box like this big to put the leftover rice in. It's literally the tiniest fucking little thing you've ever seen. And Andy just can't hold. He's trying to be professional because it's my clients, and he just loses it. He just cannot handle this little rice box that this little Chinese restaurant like get brought out. It was so dinky, like your pinkies could pick it up, and he just lost his shit, and then I lost my shit.
Yeah.
It was kind of how like we were before this episode.
Yeah, kind of like before the episode.
Yeah, I think
You
your
guys
clients-
telling me the rules that I can't, the things I can't say and bring up. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
So far, we're doing good.
We're doing really good, I think. It's pretty aggressive this episode, but I think we're doing really good.
It's all about honesty.
It's all about honesty. That's why we're here. That is why we are here.
Okay, let's bring it back to Bandhas a little bit. Not
Okay.
Banda.
No, please.
Doing
Thank you for
Mahabanda
guiding
now.
this.
Are you doing?
Mahabanda. I got her.
You got it.
Yeah.
It is kind of what it looks like. It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll do it during breath work. Like I'll do breath work tonight, and then
Yeah, you
like,
will.
when I hold my breath out. I'm like,
do Mahabanda?
Mahabanda. I do them all.
Yeah.
Do them
I'm
all.
like,
So-
I'm like, anal banda.
What
Anal
is
banda.
what's the from a scientific standpoint, what's the benefits of carving out your belly as much as you can and sucking all the fat in? Because for those of you watching, that's Uddiyana Bandha, and it's also a part of Mahabandha, where you just carve the belly out and make yourself look skinny, skinny, skinny. What's the benefit of that?
I would think that it's just creating a very strong pressure upwards.
Pushing.
Yeah, it's moving because your diaphragm is locked in. Your heart and your lungs sit right on top of that, and your diaphragm's creating that cavity and that separation, you know? So then as it's pulled up, everything is just getting a little push. So I would think with that happening, just from a physiology standpoint, you're pushing out a lot of old air that has been in like the base of your lungs because we don't actually exhale out all of our exhale with each breath. A lot stays in the reserve. So you're pushing extra of that out, but also your heart has this casing around it that is fascia, and it can stretch with an inhale and contract with an exhale. So you're kind of pushing all the blood, all the extra breath out. So I would think it's quite cleansing. I've never done a study on this, but that's what I would think.
Yeah, they say like, so the Mula Bandha is to get energy to move upward. And then the Uddiyana Bandha also can get energy to move upwards. And then the throat lock pushes it downward.
Yeah.
And we're trapping it.
Everything here. To what? To stimulate the Agni fire. Yeah. To stimulate digestive fire. You went to Ayurvedic school as well, right?
I don't know if we could call it Ayurvedic school, but I went to India and studied Ayurveda, but it's hard to say what that was.
Did they teach you bandhas there
Yeah.
as well?
Yeah.
It's hard to
Did
say
they
what
get you
that was.
naked?
Yeah, it's hard to say.
Push on your taint like they did on me. Like I had to get naked and they like tap my taint.
Well, you know, once again, I must remind you that I don't have a prostate, so that didn't happen there. No, but we did
We
the
all
full on
have taints.
Panchakarma.
Taints have nerves and they feel great.
No, I don't have a prostate. I said.
I know, we know, but we're going back to the taint.
going back
Now,
to
do you
taint.
like your taint being licked?
Is it close to my butthole?
That I got.
Yeah, I know. It's aggressive.
It was. You had to answer the question. Like that's
I'll
what that-
answer any question.
Yeah, but I mean, like the taint's fair game. That's clean. Come on, unless there's a little hair there, but like that can be shaved or waxed.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a nerve ending.
She's like, I'll answer any question.
Sensational.
I'm not answering this question.
Sensational.
Sensational. Like, what if the guy's getting a little sloppy with his tongue and it's going a little low? Like, are you going to be like, no? Oh my God, that feels good, but no, it's near my butt? Or like, you're just going to accept it?
Okay, so I guess I'll talk about that. What I can imagine my body doing is going like squealing and contracting and wiggling away because it's ticklish. It's ticklish. But tickles are just overactive nerves.
Is it ticklish for you?
Yeah, kind of, but I just soften into it. It's like instead of being like, I'm like, and instead of reacting, then there's like that inner experience instead of the outer reaction.
I'm having the outer.
Yeah, but
She's ready to run. She's like, oh.
Yeah. I'm having the outer.
Yeah.
It's okay.
and bidets, they give you the same feeling.
No.
Okay.
I mean, think about water versus a tongue.
True.
Very different.
True. You had to really go there. You had to go there.
I was just.
Yeah, exactly.
Sometimes you gotta feel what it feels like.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh.
Whatever.
Phenomenal.
Thanks for being my friends, guys.
Anytime.
I feel like I can be authentically myself and without being judged.
Do you think you can have an orgasm from bandhas?
I don't know. Like, you know, as
Without a sexual partner?
yeah, you know, as like we study these books of energy and stuff, like I can only speak on the real, like that's what I tell people. Like, you know, like I was searching for that full body orgasm, and then like one moment I'm like, well, this like it's only happened once as I was practicing and doing it, and like I was like, this has got to be it. But do I know if it's it? It's the only thing that I can associate with it being as close as it can. So as we get into these practices, like and being authentic with it, like I don't know. You know, I can't say because I haven't had that experience yet. It's like when people talk about using energy to do certain things, I'm like, I don't really believe in it because I haven't had that experience yet. Like, and so, so I can't say that it's not possible, you know, but like I haven't had that experience, so I don't know. But I definitely practice, like because I do the holotropic or transformational breath work every single week, and I'll lock my bandhas and it'll give me different experiences and different like feelings and sensations. I wouldn't say any of them are orgasmic, but I would say they're like, they lead to different, pleasurable. For
I get like
sure.
pleasure tremors.
Yeah.
Sometimes like holding bandhas long periods of time, I'm like, and it feels like, yeah, you tremor and stuff, but it's not exactly the same as like an orgasm.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm a little jealous of you women because I think you guys have like an incredible sensory palette, like you could call it, like where you guys are able to connect with sensation a little bit better. Maybe not Ashley, but you for sure. What was that? Yeah, you're blocking yourself, girl, but well, we won't get into that.
We're getting into it, obviously.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to say is that, you know, I've taught breathwork for a long time, and women have been like, I was having an orgasm during that class. And I'm like, oh, I'm so jealous. Like in my head, I'm like, I've heard this multiple times. Like when I was in India, I was sharing the breathwork because I wasn't really stoked on the ashram that I was at. And I remember my friend from London, she had to like stop and she was like rolling around. And I was like, Danny, what's up? Dan, I mean, I can't use real names. Well, nobody will know who she is, so who cares? But then I was like, Danny, what's wrong? And she's like, I'll tell you after class. And then like everybody left and she's like, John, I was literally about to explode with like an orgasm. It was just so powerful and stuff. I'm like, that's fucking awesome. So every week I'm like, I start vibrating. I'm like, trying to push it down.
Danny did it. I can do it.
Exactly.
So I mean, I think it's awesome the women that you guys have this ability to, you know, you guys might be better with energy. You guys might have this deeper connection that I can't say that I've ever been able to experience, but from the teachings that I've been able to taught and stuff, and the women being open with me after certain classes, they've definitely told me of these, like you're saying, like, can you have an orgasm through breath work? Well, yeah, these women can. Can you through mudra? I don't know, but I'm thinking that maybe a woman who's more sensually adapted to her body and can feel like these subtle sensations can create that energy in them, you know, like some women are just like, you touch their leg, they're like orgasming, oh my god, it's so amazing. And then other people are just like nothing, you know. It just depends on, like we're talking about openness, right? Like you're like dropping into the sensation as your taint's getting licked, like, okay, that's ticklish, but wow, oh, you know, melting into it. That's what I took as it. That is it.
I'm so thank you for imitating me during my sexual experience.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah. It's about to imitate me, don't worry.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Worms! I'm kissing you after.
Worms, the squiggly wiggly.
The squiggly wigglies.
Knowledge is power.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a lot of parasites, we found out. So.
Yeah, I mean, same. Everyone does. John barely even took the cleanse.
You know, I learned from this tantric book that both men and women-bodied humans, male and female-bodied humans, have both a positive and negative pole. And for women, the positive pole is the breast, and the negative pole is the vagina. And for men, the negative pole is the chest, and the positive pole is the penis, obviously. And so, like, that's why when women and men, or male-bodied and female-bodied humans come together, there's this like exchange of positive and negative poles. But also because you have your own positive and negative pole. This is really heady. When I listened to it, I thought it was stupid, but now I'm reiterating.
Here we are.
I have something to share when you're done with this.
That you can create that circuit within yourself, and I would think that would lead to a self-induced orgasm without touching yourself if you were like created that inner circuit. But I have no idea, and yeah, just a little share.
I mean, I'm rubbing my nipples if I'm masturbating. I'm tickling my nipples and
your nipples
rubbing my taint.
Nipple clamps?
Yeah.
Nipple clamps?
I mean, I have those, but sometimes, you know, you don't want to take out all the toy boxes just for like, you know, self-pleasure. It's more for other people.
Make sure you're sanitizing your toys, everyone. I don't know if John does, and he reuses them on everyone.
Wow. I feel like
can't you just throw them in the infrared light sauna? Yeah, you throw them in the infrared light sauna?
Can you tell that I got him? He's speechless. He's speechless.
I thought we
and now I'm
had
crying.
rules. I was like, wait.
I'm
Pretty sure
the mediator, and I think he's putting the toys in the infrared sauna, which is bacteria killing, right?
First of all, thank you very much.
I love you.
I definitely clean my toys. That's disgusting.
I just said make sure you clean them.
Yeah, but you definitely said I use them on everybody. Not everybody is okay with them, first of all.
Okay.
And so sometimes I have to go, why do I have so many toys? Is like a lot of women are not okay with them being used. So I'm like, okay, let's go to a sex shop and buy a new one.
Good.
So, you know,
I'm so pleased to hear that.
And so third, I thought we weren't supposed to throw anybody under the bus, but
you know, the worms thing, so it's everything's off.
You just imitated me and jumped into a wall, John. I love you.
Back to mediator. I'm so glad I was allowed to bring this chai because it like helped me sip through a lot of
no, me too.
tense moments.
No, it's really good. It's really good.
But yes, I love toys. And they're
Good.
all clean.
Good.
Just to let you know.
I'm happy that they are because STDs go rampant.
Weaken or strengthen your pelvic floor,
I think it would depend on the toy.
or on how they're being used.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Of course. Yeah.
So, like, how about vibrators? If
gotta be
people use
gentle.
vibrators a lot,
We've all
Gotta
heard
be
the
gentle.
stories. Like, no, but we've already, I mean, well, I guess not everybody heard the story, but like if you're being rough and using the vibrator all the time, I've heard it does desensitize. Like, and I've talked to a lot of partners and stuff about that. And like some of them, it's harder for them to orgasm after they've had, you know, like since they've had shitty boyfriends prior, used a lot of vibrators, and that's desensitized them to certain things. So, but from doing Muay Thai, like circus, like my nerve endings have definitely died from doing stuff. But then as taking breaks, my nerve endings definitely grew back. So my question to the doctor is like maybe being desensitized in certain areas of the clit. As we know, the clit is not just the little hood. We know
it's
the
not.
clit is a very big nerve.
Exactly.
Yeah, that it's huge, and idiots that don't know that are just fucking idiots.
Correct.
Yeah.
or they're learning,
Or they're learning.
and we'll maybe Google it. After
You know
this
what's the
podcast.
funniest thing is that some men will tell their woman that they don't have a clit.
What?
Yeah.
It's like telling a man he doesn't have a penis. even if it's
Exactly.
small.
But it happens all the time. I can't even tell you how many women that I work with don't orgasm or have not orgasmed from their partner or even themselves. And it's just like this disconnection. But also, yeah, I mean, people don't even know that the clit is under the hood, let alone that there's a whole other body to
the
it.
G-spot is the clit.
It is.
You know, that's just the back end of it.
It
you
is.
know? So
Yes, John.
no worries. I love books
I
and
know
I
you
love
do.
women.
You do.
Yeah.
You love them both. Yep. Wow.
Why did it get so
G-spot.
quiet?
I think we were all just thinking.
I was thinking about the G-spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I actually just learned about how I didn't even know it was part of the clit.
Really?
Yeah, I just learned it from that
book?
book.
Nice.
No way. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, so G-spot is part of the clit.
It is.
Yeah.
Turns out.
Yeah. Part of the body.
And then, you know, like with women in anal, really like that when some women can orgasm through anal, believe it or not, but that's just because of the pressure from the backside of the clitoris from the ass that it's going and touching and rubbing, but you don't like butthole stuff. But we're talking about buttholes.
We are talking about buttholes. So,
So like
It can be on the table here. Yeah.
I've had a lot of partners to orgasm through anal. It's like you get that magic wand, which if you don't know what a magic wand is, magic wands are awesome because they're really long with a huge vibrating head. So like it takes away the awkward reach around.
Oh,
We
wow.
all love, it's great for men too. Like you're doing it, you put it on your taint and asshole, a little 2-for-1. Woo!
Wow.
Talk about
magic
enlightening.
wand.
The
I didn't
magic
know.
wand. Oh yeah, get the one without the cord. So then that way you can take it to any room, without having that awkward like re-plug in type thing that can just slow the momentum.
Does it look like this, the magic wand, but like longer?
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah, so the end
100%.
is like this.
Yeah. That's why when this kept going in my face, I was like, I don't know.
You're having
I don't know.
flashbacks.
No, I don't want it. I don't know.
Not up here, not up here.
Not the mouse. Not the mouse. Ashwagandha.
Ashwagandha. Phenomenal herb.
But
for
by
buttholes.
stimulating the clitoris hood and then doing anal from behind, women have had way better times with doing anal that aren't normally very well liking it, And every
I
scumbag.
think you just added to your list of like, you're like performer, fitness trainer, and sexpert. Like, I feel like that just happened.
Why would you say that to him? Look at his smirk. He's happy.
I'm not happy. First of all, that's not.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
First of all, that is not making me
I
happy.
didn't mean to
Any
build up the
true
ego.
spiritual person knows the moment you label them is the moment they lose it.
Oh, God.
Our yogi isn't
He can't lose it.
a self-proclaimed yogi.
Yeah, and that's just some bullshit. So I'll never be a guru, no shaman, no sexpert. No, I just have had a lot of experiences. And through those experiences, I know what I like and what I don't like.
I'm
Like,
pretty sure expert
you know
and
what you don't
experiences
like.
have the same root, and therefore, sexpert is not very far off. Just saying. Okay.
That's-
We're dropping it. Sexpert's not a thing. Not a guru, not a thing.
Yeah.
But it is true that, they say a self-proclaimed yogi is not a yogi at all. So,
Yeah. So why do you label
so
yourself?
why proclaim yourself as a sexpert?
Then you're an idiot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
For sure.
Okay, another thing that I learned, which was really helpful, for women, female-bodied who are constipated. There's this woman who I follow on Instagram, and she talked about how if you're constipated, you can put your finger up your butthole and press towards your vagina. Wait, no, opposite. Put your thumb in your vagina and press back towards your butthole, and then it helps free up the constipated nugget.
This is fun because it could just guide us into some fun asshole things that people experience outside of sex, since this immediately turned into a sex podcast, which is fine. I have no problem talking about sex. But some women get shooting pains up their butthole. Have you ever felt that?
I did a
Yeah.
lot during pregnancy.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Pregnancy, yeah.
Yeah, because in a female body, it's a bladder, then a uterus, and then the colon. So if your uterus is doing something fun, it could press on that area, and
Stimulation to
yeah, it can be a lot, and that shooting pain up is dramatic. Clearly, I felt it before as well.
It'll bring you to your knees.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, and it can definitely happen on your period. I've never been pregnant, but of course, it can happen when you're pregnant as well.
Because everything's inflamed.
Everything's
The uterus
just
is expanding.
Yeah, just expanding. It's pressure. It's close. And, people can have all different poops based on their period because truly everything is so connected. It's all down there.
Wow.
Yeah.
So now we know.
You could also get shooting pains up your butt if the ligaments in your pelvis are off, because for females, your uterus is hovering. It's literally floating in your pelvic bowl, and it's floating in there by different ligaments. So different things that move your organs around can change where that uterus is sitting and press on your sweet little buttonia. Lead to shooting pain.
How would you avoid that?
How would you avoid that
Yeah, like-
happening?
Would you have to go to an actual pelvic floor therapist?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Just to balance out all those muscles, because there's so many muscles that are impacting how you pee and poop. And then the ligaments can also get tight, need to be released, just like ligaments in anywhere else in the body.
Wow. Yeah. When you worked on me after giving birth, you were telling me your uterus settled over to the left on this side of the body. I was like, oh my gosh, it's so crazy to think of that. All of my organs moved around and now they're finding their way back into their place. It is just the weirdest shit.
And think about how big a uterus gets, because it's probably this big at baseline, honestly. It's pretty small.
we can't see your hands.
This big.
Okay, now I have an idea.
I did a womb meditation with someone before and she made me send my prayers through this.
Beautiful. The womb.
The womb.
I love having a womb.
I never thought I would do womb work until I created a human and then pushed it out of my womb. Then I was like, oh, I get it. Now I understand all the womb circle things.
Yeah.
'Cause that shit is powerful.
It is quite powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah. And even circling back around, I think that women are more sensitive. And I think that it's because of the way that our brains are kind of developed also. Women are usually more right-brained, so we can kind of see the big picture and feel more and be more go with the flow. Whereas, traditionally masculine energy is more finite, more closed, more just checking off boxes kind of a thing, whereas women can truly be open to all the experiences. And women can have so many different types of orgasms. And I'm not a man, so I don't know what an orgasm feels like for you, but orgasms can be so different based on what is stimulated. You could have a clitoral orgasm, you can have a G-spot orgasm, you can have a cervical orgasm, and your cervix is actually innervated by your vagus nerve. So for some people that have pelvic pain or who have interesting things that come up with sex, it can be because their nervous system is in a more sympathetic state. So the vagus nerve is off. So it just tenses everything up down there. And also the vagina has its own kind of nervous system going to it too. So it will literally close itself down to certain partners. It'll be like, no. If your mind wants it, but your vagina doesn't, and if your womb's like, fuck no, it will not allow it to happen.
Guys have that same thing with their penis.
Do they?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It just doesn't.
Do they?
You're like, it's not coming up. Well, there's a problem.
Yeah.
Wait,
Wow.
I want to touch on something.
Please.
The cervix.
Yeah.
Let's talk about how so many women are being forced to get colposcopies.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And so the cervix is connected to the vagus nerve. Like,
Yeah.
what does that do to the vagus nerve? Like, when you get that little clip, that is the most painful thing ever.
Yeah. So for people who don't know what that is, essentially women get pap smears, and pap smears are when you get opened up like a little car. You get pulled a speculum in there, it opens up, and then you look at your cervix, which looks like a little beautiful, cute little donut. And it should be nice and happy, but the cervix is kind of the boundary of the outside world to the internal world for a woman. Did you have something to say on the cervix before I continue?
How is it happy if you're putting this machine in and tearing it apart?
Well, no, it doesn't hit the cervix. It goes
okay.
into the vaginal
It's like-
vault and opens it.
Vault.
The vault. It's like a vault.
It's just a vault.
And then the cervix is at the end of it. That's why it can't keep going, right? It would literally hit a cervix. But as far as that goes, what can happen is if someone looks at your cervix, and I've seen many cervixes, they're quite cute. If it's inflamed or if it looks like there's some type of cellular change, that could be the beginning of an HPV infection, which anyone that has touched another human is exposed to HPV. But there are certain types that can lead more likely to cervical cancer just because they're more virulent, they're more active in the body. HPV can create warts, right? I think everyone knows this. And really that's what can happen on the cervix. You get warts, and if those warts continue to grow, we call it cancer. So when people look inside of the womb and if they see anything off, first they'll do a test and they'll see if there's any cellular changes where they put vinegar on it. Truly, that's it. They just put some vinegar on your cervix. If it changes colors, they're like, uh-oh, we got to take a look at this deeper. And they will take a sample of it and look at it under a microscope. And taking that sample for some individuals, I've never had this done, but I can imagine just for how invasive a pap smear feels, which I'm a big fan of that. I think that even though it's uncomfortable, it's needed because I'm a big fan of preventative medicine. However, I can imagine that a colposcopy is not only, and it's not just the colposcopy, it's the leap. The leap is the procedure to take the sample and to look at it under a microscope.
Colposcopy is like the lesser sample, and then the leap is like full-on surgical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if they find any changes on that, then they will, counsel you on what to do. And a lot of the times, the gynecologist will say, yep, we got to cut this out. Or, let's just take out your whole fucking womb. It's from a viral infection. So I find that a lot of people can get all types of infections. And fun truth bomb for you all is that most people that are B9 deficient, folate deficient, are more likely to get things like an HPV infection. So that's one of the best treatments. It's just mega dosing yourself with vitamins so that your immune system can clear the infection. But no one tells you that, right? However, from a nervous system perspective, it's so invasive, it's so deep, but also it's hitting that parasympathetic nervous system. That's what the vagus is, and it could definitely lead to a lot of sexual trauma and also just emotional trauma, PTSD, that type of a thing.
Wow. Because when I got a colposcopy once, maybe it's not related, but it could have been that I didn't know how painful it was going to be, but I almost fainted. And I was about to drive back. It was when I worked in the lab. And I couldn't drive my car.
Yeah.
Do you think that's vagus nerve related, or it was just like way more painful than I thought it was gonna be?
Both.
Yeah, because I was like literally dizzy and ill, and I was like, oh my God. Because they're like, yeah, it's just a quick procedure. And then I was like, oh my God, I can't drive my car. I know. Yeah, so that's pretty crazy. And another thing, tons of female-bodied humans go through, and no one's talking about it.
And no one's talking about it.
Yeah. Leave it to me. I'll just talk about it. Let's cover it all. Anal fissures, colposcopies.
We need to. That's what this
talk about
podcast is
pain.
for. And also just like that dysfunction in the parasympathetic and sympathetic that shows up in sex, because even how you're saying, certain partners, just it's not going to happen. If you can't drop into a parasympathetic nervous system and feel calm and safe around someone, a man can't get hard. They can't get an erection. So you actually get an erection. And for women, the same thing is happening in female bodies. The blood is rushing down there. It should change sizes. Like it really should, because you should get a lot of blood flowing down there. And what will happen is that if you can't get in the parasympathetic nervous system, you're going to have a very difficult time reaching orgasm, because you need that parasympathetic input to get all the blood to fuel everything to drop you in, and then it's a sympathetic output. So it's very different. And you'll probably feel that when you're getting closer to it, you'll get sweaty, your heart will start to beat harder, and that's truly where your nervous system flip-flopped. But so many people that I work with, they don't have a regulated nervous system, and it shows up in sex. And then they come to see me and they're like, "Can you give me testosterone?" I'm like, "It's not your testosterone at all."
They need yoga.
They need yoga.
I mean, a lot of the biggest stuff when we're talking about, what's the book that you're reading right now?
The Tantric Orgasm for Women.
When we talk about trust and communication, I mean, that's the number one thing in every relationship that is the most important, especially when it comes to playing. I use the word play as like sex. Passion is like there has to be communication and trust. Otherwise, like, obviously neither partner is going to find, unfortunate guys are just so used to watching porn or like masturbating really fast. So it's just like, done. Like, so their end is very easy because they've just been programmed to this easy sense of like, touch this happens, boom, and that's what leads to a lot of these guys with premature ejaculation or all sorts of stage fright, all sorts of different things. And then with women, it's that lack of communication that you're saying right now that is making them shut down. And so like in a lot of these books, these sex books, or like as we start talking about Tantra, which Tantra is a stupid word because Tantra is really deeper teachings of spirituality. It's not sex. And we've been misconstrued of what Tantra really is, where it's really about compassion and wisdom coming together to lead to enlightenment, versus like what these people think red Tantra of like these sex dungeons and people just having multiple orgasms, or like when I was talking about the full body orgasm, like that's a teaching to help us get further along to hopefully maybe one day not need a partner and to have those type of euphoric experiences on one's own. But communication is the most important thing, because that's what leads to somebody going, "Oh wait, you don't like me licking your taint?" And you're like, doing that little move, because it's like, sex or coming together with somebody is about trusting them. And without that trust, how can there be any fun? It's like going to the playground and you don't trust somebody you're playing with, and all of a sudden you trip and fall, and then, all that fear just gets reprogrammed, and it's just
re-traumatized.
You can't play with that person, and why would you want to anymore?
Yeah.
So it's the same thing. Like, it's sad that they're coming to you for help versus like the partner and them sitting down and going like, "Hey, I don't like this, but you keep doing this because you think my clit's a fucking DJ, and it worked on some girl way down the line when you were really drunk or something. You're fucking scratching that thing like a DJ pad, like there's that DJ pad over there that the producer has. But I don't like that." But they have this fear of communication, or like the same thing with the guy, like, they're doing something, you're like, "Oh, that's really not doing it for me, but I'm just going to let them keep going. They think they're doing a great job." But, like you're saying earlier, coaching them, teaching them, because, everybody can use coaching on your body, because your body's different, right? Like my body's different than Andy's body. Your body's different than Nikki's or Ashley's body. And so, in any relationship, that aspect of learning and teaching has to be open, because we're all learning on each other's bodies and be open with it. And that can help us to get to this change of our sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system during these moments. Or it's about honest communication, like, "Okay, this is not my person. What the fuck am I doing with this person? Because this is just not okay."
Yeah. I literally just was eating all of that up, because I think a lot of that perfectly and metaphorically compares to the experience of being a yoga teacher and having students, because I think there's not enough communication between teacher and student, and there's this hierarchical role of like, this is how we do things, this is how we're going to practice, this is how you do your bandhas, this is how you breathe, rather than what feels good for your body, do what feels good for you, let's talk about your injury. Like, there isn't I think, as often as there should be, this back and forth of communication, which allows for your students to de-layer, for like them to address and look at their own trauma and maybe even set it down, maybe even heal from it. But if there's just like one person leading the show and not a back and forth communication, I think there's a lot of re-traumatizing. And there's a lot of people fainting in breath work or doing breath work that they shouldn't be doing, or even they say a Bandha practice is an advanced practice. And like you really shouldn't be leading it unless everyone in there, you know your students, you know where they're at in their health. And so like beautiful point when it comes to sexual communication. But I also think that goes for the teacher-student role in yoga, since we're talking buttholes and bandhas.
And with the yoga aspect of being a teacher, it gets even harder because in America, it's a 30-person class, a 15-person class, where originally the lineage was like one-on-one.
On-one.
So it's like, one, we get a lot of young new teachers that are doing YTTs and they're going to teach this, class to a bunch of people. And so it's hard on them. They're already nervous. They're standing in front of a group of 30 people. And then, these people start coming up to them, asking them things. And so that one-on-one thing is hard. And then two, it's just like, we've kind of gotten away from what the tradition really was. And it's hard for us to pull back to it because ideally in America, yoga was only asana. I mean, let's get really to it. It's not like when people like, no judgments, but like I've gone back to taking classes recently, which has been awesome. I'm letting go of like my own judgments of people, of where they're at with teaching and stuff. And I'm just always doing the class, and I'm really working on not trying to be like, what the fuck am I doing in this room? I should be doing the stuff that I need instead of doing the stuff that this teacher thinks I need, which is totally okay. Because I mean, that's what the teacher is doing, is sharing from their experience of what's helped them in their practice. Where was I going with this? Or some thing that I was just about to get to, and no judgment, but the teacher was like, yeah, and I haven't been doing my yoga lately. And in my head, I'm like, you mean asana? Because like ultimately the real practice of the yamas, the niyamas is how you treat yourself, how you treat people, the practice, the daily practice. It's like, doing your meditation. We were talking about how, Remy's changed some things in your life, but you're still bringing that practice in different ways. Like our practice will change, but asana is what we think yoga is in America, when that's really only a step to get us sitting, to be able to sit in stillness. Because ultimately, like what's the hardest part? You tell somebody to go to a yin class that's been doing yoga forever, and they're like, when's the next
chaturanga, please.
When's the next posture? When's the next posture? Their fucking mind's like, what the fuck, or you'll have somebody in your class
literally tapping.
Tapping, or like going to the music, and you just want to go over there and step on their fucking hand and be like, sit in it, bro. Sit.
No, that's how I know if I'm in a good place or bad place, because if I'm in a good place, I feel compassion for them, and if I'm in a bad place, I want to step on
This is why I don't teach yoga. I have no compassion for anybody. This is why I'm not a yoga teacher. I'm still working on myself.
Exactly.
Like, I just want to step on their fucking hand. Just like, hey, does that hurt more now? Think about that.
John has compassion fatigue from only using it in the bedroom.
Oh.
Well, I love that passion for sure. Definitely. I save it at least one place. Not driving or not teaching. So,
yeah. At least you're honest.
But, just like getting back to the teachings, even for myself, it's hard to have a one-on-one in classes and stuff, and to make that connection just because it's changed so much. You being Nikki, the guru of this session, people open up to you and you have to sit with them. You do a very good job at sitting with people and caring for people. And that's what I love about you, is that you do take on that role, where I don't think from what I've seen in my life, a lot of teachers don't really, instead of listening to the person and helping them, they just put on to their views. They're just like, oh, your heart chakra is closed, so you should like go get some amethyst and put some essential oil on it, light some sage, and like, let's think about your heart, and we'll do some twists. Let's do some twists and open up your chest. And I'm like, no, fucking therapy. Like, let's see where this shit's coming from. Like, let's actually dig into what the heart is actually feeling. Why does it feel that way? Oh, well, I just had my heart broken. Okay, well, what happened? Well, there was lack of communication. Okay, so we're feeling our heart is hurting. Somebody just left us. There was no good communication, so that's creating more trauma. Okay, cool. That's where this shit's coming from. Not like, So anyways, I think you do a very good job, and that's why I love you, and that's why you're the only... I can't say that.
Now you go to other teachers.
Huh?
Now you go to other teachers, but I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
Other teachers.
Well, that's my own little thing that I'm working on, so that doesn't even matter. But I just think that yoga in America has just changed so much, and it's hard to get back to the root of it. And I wish we could, but it's just like evolution and life is changing with technology, you know, like we got to flow with it or else we're just going to be stuck behind, you know, and that's like why we're sitting here today doing a podcast and making fun of life and love, which is awesome.
But we're bringing it back to some of the traditions by bringing up bandhas. And like, you know, like it'll evolve. And then it's also important for us as teachers to bring it back and to honor and acknowledge what once was and thread it through as best as we can, especially if no one else is doing it.
Yeah.
I can't believe we're like ending this sentimental.
No, it's beautiful. As we showed, you guys closed it great. Yeah. And I think that's my favorite thing about both of you too, is that you are still humans, but you guide so well and you have your feet in both worlds, because it's one of my least favorite things to think that someone is looking down on me while they're trying to guide a class because they think that they're more spiritually evolved or whatever. And you're both well aware, as am I, that we're all fucking humans just trying to do the best we can. We are learning on a daily basis. We are going to continue to mess up. And that's also something that you're both very humble, and you will always admit when you learn something that completely changed what you were previously perceiving. And you're both phenomenal communicators as well. And not many people are. Not many people would bring up to their partner that something was up, would bring up to a friend that something was up, would even be able to share some of the things that you both share in your classes, even though you're not a yoga teacher, but people would not. They just don't feel comfortable doing that. And then I will connect this to sex before we actually close it off. Yeah, I'm listening. So the throat
gagging
is directly connected to the cervix.
Yeah, do you remember when we talked about that? And I was talking about putting fingers down mouth, and we were talking about choking. Oh yeah, like how that's like beautiful and
gag balls.
Great sensation. You're like, that's gross. I would never have a guy's hands in my mouth. You remember that? And
well,
then you did
it's not that I wouldn't have a hand down my mouth.
On gagging, I was like, yes.
John, can you imitate though what you said that you did for my viewers so that they know why it scared me?
Perfect place, like timeout.
Okay.
Right? You can't just shove you, like, I'm not like some fucking guy that's just gonna be like, open your mouth, girl.
That's what you did though.
No, it's not.
It scared me.
No, that's
I was talking about putting my surf leash in my mouth while I paddled out.
You went to what your trauma has created in your life, but me and Nikki were like thinking about like the soft like grab, and you're like in this moment of passion, and they're like nibbling on your nipples. All of a sudden, it's just like a smooth stroke across the lips.
Okay, we're not ending it sentimental. We're not ending it sentimental.
And then all of a sudden, there's like a little finger in the mouth, and you see they kind of like it, and you go a little deeper, and then all of a sudden they start sucking on it and swirling their tongue around, and you're like, oh, you've been really good at like cake batter. You know, remember when you like would do cake?
You watched that meme today. Yes, you saw it. I saw it on Instagram too. Okay.
I was like, that makes total sense.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And the moment you know they like it, then you're gonna dive deeper into it. Like, this is what being an empath means.
Look at that. Look at that.
This expert has spoken. Back to the throat and cervix situation.
Thank you so much,
Doctor.
Nikki, for your assistance today.
Yes.
So energetically, the throat is related to the cervix. So that is why doing something like that, or having something far back in your throat, can help open up the pelvic floor and help someone get to feeling safe in a sexual space, because it's activating the vagus nerve, but it's also calming down the sweet little cervix. And the cervix can move, the uterus moves. So that can be why sometimes you feel deeper than others. And it's truly because those organs move, and they are so deeply neurologically connected. So, you know, we are all very open humans, which is why we're talking about these things. And I really hope that some of the viewers and listeners that are not very open did learn some stuff from this, and also have questions that they want to bring up to their partner about things that they like and don't like, or that, you know, might consider seeing a pelvic floor therapist, or you might just open your mind to getting choked out by John Beck. Or any of these things.
Bandhas.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I'm not a...
Or maybe do some bandhas. Put an amethyst on your throat, hold it in place with a bandha, and
I use a tennis ball.
It'll
Tennis
clear
balls
out
work
your
real
communication.
good.
Tennis balls work
Amethyst, tennis
great.
ball.
Yes, communication is key. And I always end these fantastic discussions with a knowledge bomb, truth bomb, love bomb from your hearts out into the universe. It can truly be for someone that you know, something that you want to share, something that you're passionate about. For yourself, it doesn't matter. For me.
I already said the one that I said I was going to say. So
Did you?
Yeah, you guys don't remember? I was like, yeah, truth bomb.
Oh.
I was gifted with herpes, and that has made me a better communicator, you know, and it leads to a lot of honesty if you communicate it. The problem behind this fear of it is that, you know, that somebody's not going to love you. That was like my biggest fear when this happened to me, is like, you know, somebody I trusted, and this just kind of happened in my life. And, you know, it led to me not thinking that I'd be loved anymore by like somebody who doesn't have it, or like this like whole fear behind this whole aspect of the word herpes. Because I remember my dad, I hope my dad doesn't see this and I didn't rat him out, but my dad had this. I remember being in 5th grade and I came home from sex education and they like show you that gnarly fucking video. And they show you like the worst of it. Not like the little red dot that you kind of get or some of this little thing. There's like the dick is mutated and it's like fucking it's falling off. You see it's like you read through a ligament, you're like, oh my God. And I remember I went home, my dad's like, yeah, I have herpes. I was like, oh my God, my dad's penis is falling off. And I'm just like freaking out. I was like, I never want that. And so like all of that trauma leading to like my own experience. Why is that funny? It's sick, Nikki. How are you laughing? Where's the compassion? You know, the thing behind it is that we have to realize that anything that happens to us, it's through communication, and honesty is how we're going to grow and how we develop deeper relationships with people. And I've been very fortunate that, you know, in the partners that I've had after developing this beautiful thing called herpes. So disgusting.
Just a virus.
Don't watch the 5th grade video. Like it's just horrible.
My children will watch that.
It doesn't really happen. Is that as you realize that you need to communicate, that's like what it comes down to, is like there was a lack of communication and there was a lack of something that somehow this has now happened to me. And I now have to do the due diligence of communicating that one, I'm healthy. I'm taking measures like Visacravir and stuff, like medications that I don't want to be taking, but I still take to keep other people safe. Like I have to communicate that I'm doing the right thing. And the other thing to communicate is you have to tell everybody that you have it. Like I'm telling hopefully you only have like 5 followers. I'm really hoping.
There's only 5.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So like, you know, but you have to communicate that right away. And like, I've been lucky to be able to coach some friends through having it and them like telling partners, but like, a friend of mine was like, yeah, I kind of tell them like right before we're about to have sex. I'm like, no, like you can't be in that moment. Like all of a sudden the girl's like infatuated with you. Her cervix is now opened up because you put a couple fingers down her throat. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And all of a sudden she's like milky wet and ready. And then you're like, oh wait, time out. One quick, I have herpes. Okay, thank you. And then you dive right back in. Like, and then they're like in their head, they're like, wait, what? I really like this moment. It's really great. Oh my God, I don't care. But you didn't give them the rational moment to be like, hey, this is what's going on. This has happened to me. Somebody didn't communicate this to me like I would have liked it communicated to me. I need to let you know that this is going on. You are safe. I will keep you safe, but this is something that I have, you know, and I'm going to do the best that I can to keep you safe. And that's just like what it's taught me, you know, and that's hopefully like what in San Diego, 1 in 2 people fucking have it. But, you know, in the rest of the world, it's like 1 in like 5.
Wow. Know? San Diego. Good job.
Yeah. Oh yeah. People don't talk. That's the problem. The problem is that 1, alcohol, you know, you get drunk and you're like, fuck it, you know. 2, drugs and alcohol, you won't feel sensations of the things coming up, or even if it could bring it up because it is a virus. And when are you weaker, right? When is your immunity weaker? Well, when you're taking drugs or alcohol, and we have a huge party population, you know, and then due to that, like in the moment, your own insecurity can come up and not want to be honest. And you might, you know, those people that have one night stands, I've never had a one night stand, so that's where I feel very lucky. But those people that do that can just do that and then walk away and then have no feeling behind it because somebody did it to them. And that's where we have to break the stigma of it, you know? And so anyways, that's my share.
Thank you.
No worries.
Yes. And thank you for sharing that. And again, one of my favorite things about you is that you'll talk about anything and be open, because I didn't know it was 1 in 2, but I do know that it's quite common and something that I see on a daily.
1 in 3, but I think since COVID,
it probably went up
to 1 in 2.
Actually, people had way less sex during COVID. It was just an illusion that people were, but they were not. But it is very common and something that I see all the time in my practice. And I do think that we have to remove the stigma from sex, from everything that we're talking about, because we're all doing it, or you want to be doing it if you're not. So thank you for sharing that and being open, because that's one of your gifts to this world.
I'm open with butt and all.
Asshole and all. All right, my queen.
Wow. My truth bomb is definitely related, which is that regardless of your role or relationship to whomever you're speaking with, I think telling the truth is the most important thing. And I see it a lot with my students in yoga, that they'll be shocked that I get up I don't know, on a podcast and talk about anal fissures, or in front of a room. And today, in front of my class, I talked about how I lost my temper with my husband. And I think we all could use a little more vulnerability. We all wear a lot of masks and pretend like we have it together. I think Instagram is a whole new platform to do that, like an extra layer of a mask to wear. But I think there's a lot of potency and power in telling it like it is and sharing your learning experience as it unfolds. And I think that's where the real teaching lies. And I think we could all be a little more vulnerable and open with one another. So that's my truth bomb.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
What's your truth bomb?
We were just sharing them all class. I don't typically do one at the end of this, but I'll do a truth bomb. So I'll do a truth bomb related to herpes since it's on the topic. If you have herpes, know that it is a viral infection. Know that there are so many beautiful herbs out there that can help support that, because herbs are wise and we evolved with herbs, so our bodies do very well with them. So I would say that if you feel like this is something that is going to impact the rest of your life, it only is if you allow it to. If you take care of yourself and if you support your immune system, it's really just like any other virus. Any virus that we've ever been exposed to, like the common cold or fucking COVID or whatever it is that you want to talk about, it stays within our body, and it's just up to our immune system to keep it at bay so that we're not having symptoms. So as a reminder, your body is perfect. As a reminder, you can heal from anything. And as a reminder, herbs are the best.
And somebody will love you.
And of course, we love you. People will love you.
Well, I know. I love myself. I was just saying that to the
people
viewers
will
that
love
don't-
you.
People will love you.
that don't believe in it.
But do you love yourself? Right?
Yeah.
That's it.
Fuck yeah! Look,
That's it.
I love. Oh my god.
And with that,
The positive negative pole. The
Positive negative. That's what I was
Positive
going
negative.
like.
Positive
These
negative.
nipples could cut ice right now.
Ashwini
Wow.
Mudra, Ashwini Mudra, Ashwini.
Ashwini.
Okay.
Wow.
This has been great.
This has been phenomenal. I can't imagine having this conversation with anyone else. We didn't plan any of this, so this is highly entertaining. I hope that we have inspired you, offended you, and turned you on. Any of those three things are perfect. If you are not subscribed to this podcast, you need to, because this is just the beginning, and apparently it's a sex podcast now, so that's phenomenal. You need to follow both of these incredible individuals just to see what they're up to all the time. And like, should I call out Reunify Yoga?
You're wearing
Our
a shirt.
favorite yoga studio is in Ocean Beach. Reunify Yoga. We all teach there. We won't be talking about any of this stuff in class, but we always keep it real.
Bandhas. We'll talk about bandhas.
Yeah, we talk about Bandhas, and
Yeah.
John talks about his butthole all the time.
Yeah.
So it's fine.
I don't talk about my butt.
We're probably going to talk about it all. Yes, we will.
Yeah. Thanks for tuning in.
I love it when you kiss.